Check one, two, check. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live, the Coffee and Biscotti Show, and I'm your host, Crew Mel Bellissimo. Today is Friday, December the 10th, and it is a good day to be alive. I will tell you, my friends, I'm a little bit under the weather today. However, I'm in it to win it. And man, am I excited for today's show. Today, it's going to rock. And it's because of this man that I have this energy. It's because of this man. And just listening to him strum a few chords backstage, I got excited. I got this energy, baby. I'll tell you also why I'm excited. Because there's a lot to this story. It's a story of passion. He said that it's a story about being the underdog. And I love that. You see, let's go back for a moment. If we go back to the time of ancient Egypt, we understand that in that time it was the women that made the decisions, and it was the teachers and the artists that were famous and that were influencers. We live in a time where the athletes and the movie stars get the fame and the fortune. But today, my guest is a guy who really followed his dream. He listened to his heart. He said, "This is what I'm going to do." And the fame and fortune is not important to me. What's important is that I share my heart and I share my voice with the world. I'm going to bring up something that I think is very, very important. And I'm just going to read it to you because I said this on the show, episodes back, but I'm going to say it again for all of you today. Kent Nurburn wrote a book that I read 20 years ago called Simple Truths. It really is one of my favorite little books. In it, he divides the chapters into the various compartments of our life. And on the one on career, he writes, "We should think of work as a vocation, which comes from the Latin word for calling, which comes from the word voice. When you look at it this way, work should be something that calls to you, that gives you voice to who you are and what you want to say in this world." My friends, my guest is sharing his voice. He's sharing his voice, and it's a beautiful one at that. I love stories of passion because the world's in a difficult spot. And I repeat on every episode that the reason why this was created, this show, Coffee and Biscotti, it was created so that we could share stories of passion and transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know that our guest today embodies exactly that. Sharing his voice and sharing his passion. To me, there's no other reason to live if we can't do that. And that's what I love about my guest. He's a remarkable young man who has done some really cool stuff. Like when you meet somebody and you say, "Man, what are you doing in your life?" And he tells you the story. And then on top of it, he tells you that he, wrote a World Cup song, co-wrote a World Cup song for the Swiss national soccer team. I mean, talk about right up my alley. Soccer and music. Perfect. The combination is perfect. Today, my friends, I hope to give you an inside look, an inside perspective on what it's like to be a star and still have this ability to be humble and just come from the heart, and to hear a little bit about his story because he's an amazing young man. And I'm super, super grateful to my friends, Joe Capone, Anthony. Thank you so much for this introduction, because it's a real great honor to spend the next hour or so. So, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world, get off of your comfortable seat and put your hands together for Armando. And the crowd wild.
Wow, Mel, you gave me goosebumps, man. That's like if God forbid if I were to pass away, you'd be the guy speaking about my 5 minutes. You would sum up the 5 minutes of my life, man. Holy cow.
Thanks, brother.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
that.
much,
It's a pleasure to
Armando.
be here.
You're
Thank you.
you're first class, brother. I got to tell you, from the moment I heard your voice on the phone, I said to myself, "Yeah, this guy's got it. He's a star. You're a star, Armando. You're a star."
Thank you, man. I'm just me, but thank you so much. It means a lot. It's a long time coming. It's people like what you said with that World Cup song and stuff I've done, which we'll talk about. People don't see it takes a lifetime of impossibility. It seems impossible, and then when you stop trying, it's funny how when you stop, you care by not caring. It just happens. Like life, the hard work, karma, whatever you want to call it, doesn't forget what you put in. And I believe if you're really sincere about something and you really love something, life will bring, like, for example, like life brought us together. So even as big or as small as it is, it doesn't matter. It's just making those connections, and more things will happen once you align, once you start changing your mind, your philosophy of your mind. Things align, no matter how big or small. You're gonna be led in the right way, man.
Well, I'll tell you this, Armando. I'm a big fan of metaphysics. I had the pleasure of studying with an esoteric school in Toronto. And here's what I learned: if you believe in angels, then this is what was shared to me, that when you believe inside of your heart of hearts in something that you're doing, and you're trying and you're working and you're dedicated, it's almost like you're looking over the cliff and you're literally hanging on by one toenail. And that's when the universe and the angels will hold you up and you will see the fruits of your labor. And this is
Oh
exactly
man,
what
that's
you've done,
exactly
brother.
it. Well, I thank you. I haven't done anything yet, but you're too kind. I've done a few things that made me happy. And once you taste that stage, and once you taste, like, especially when I go to Europe and, I have the chance to sing in front of 10,000 people and they're singing your song back to you, man, that I don't do drugs, but that's the most addicting thing I've ever. I would fly 30 hours for 3 minutes.
Yeah, man. That's amazing. And so Armando, I want to go back here, because here's what I like to do on every episode of the show. First off, I want to give a shout out to Up Level Studios. I think it's Bins Plus. Thank you guys so much for being
Yeah.
here. Um,
Thank you guys.
Super honored to have all of you here in the chat. Um, what I'd like to do, Armando, is I would really love for you to paint a picture for all our friends in the Twitchyverse. Paint a picture of who Armando really is. That's what I would love, my friend.
A big loving teddy bear comes from a loving blue collar Italian Canadian raised family. I was there was nothing I was ever missing in my upbringing. I did my parents, no matter how hard the times were, kept my sister and I in dancing and ballet with my sister, kept me in hockey. I played soccer. I did all the sports. I was always an underdog. I was always an underdog. I was never, I was always the bigger kid. I couldn't play hockey. I couldn't get a scholarship. I got a scholarship. I couldn't play pro hockey. I played pro hockey. Oh, you're okay singer. I've been living out my dream, and I've traveled Europe, and I've had the opportunity of playing in the New York Fashion Week and the F1 in Monaco. So I'm just a genuinely, I love to be the voice of the underdog. I come from humble beginnings, but I know that there's great things ahead of me, and I just want to share. I'm just a channel for people who need to hear what I have to say via my music, man. But I'm a blue collar ex professional hockey player, and I'm just a big, genuine, sincere teddy bear who just keeps on hearing melodies and lyrics, and I need to get it out of my body, and so
Yeah,
people
man.
could
Well,
can listen to it.
I love it, and I think that the part that really gets me is the fact that you talk about being the underdog, and always, having people tell you that you can't do something, and you putting your heart and soul into something and then going and do it. That's that's to me,
Because you know what?
that's the element of a fighter.
Yeah, exactly something a thing or two about, right?
A thing or two.
It's funny. It's funny you say that. I have, yeah, because you know what it is, Mel, and you've trained, and obviously with your background and what you've done in your life. I had to train. Like if you wanted to compete, I learned later on in life, and I wish maybe if I can go back, I would take it a little more seriously when I was 15 and 16. I was playing AAA hockey, and then I went AA my draft year, and I got good later on in life, but I never really did the things off the ice, which I should have listened to my dad more. The training. I never really took that seriously until I was later on when I saw the train going by. I'm like, shit. I was just as good. I was a good hockey player. I got paid for my MBA. I got a scholarship. I played for the farm team of Chicago Blackhawks and Detroit Red Wings, but they just turned me into a fighter. But I could play. Then I went over to Europe. I had my Italian passport. I played in Belgium, Holland, and France. And every time people were telling me I couldn't do it, they weren't there when I was putting in the work. When they were going out to party, I was in the gym, or I was doing. Next day, I wake up, I would do the bike, I would train, or the amounts of, I had to email all 52 schools, and only two schools got back to me, and one of them gave me a scholarship. So for people to say, oh, it's just an opinion, they're not there with the work and the blood and the sweat and the tears. They're not there in my agony. So I in sacrifice is what made me, going through that pain made me, cemented my heart and my emotions, where like I'm a lion, I'm gonna keep coming at you. I'm not gonna stop. You know what I mean? And I saw my parents' hard work, how hard they worked for my sister and I, and the chance they gave me. And my dad waking up at carpenter 6 a.m., cold, hot, fever, no fever. He's going out there to kill himself for us. And what? I'm not gonna train. That was a dream. I got paid to play hockey. It wasn't NHL money, but I got paid to play hockey, and I got to travel the world. And like, who can say that? Very few people. And I learned so much about that, the discipline, the teamwork, the unselfishness. So I try to take that in my music career right now, which is, it is a career, but it's a hell of a roller coaster right now, man.
I can only imagine, Armando. Like, I mean, I said this to you. I said this to you, I think, on the phone, that what's interesting about the music business now is that really anybody can get in it. Anybody can get into the music business. Before the internet, you had to go to a radio station and you know and get the DJ on the radio station to play your song over the sound waves, with the hopes that it was going to be a hit. And now you could
I know.
upload a song onto iTunes, and it's nothing. But what makes this particularly special, Armando, is the fact that with the ease of entry into the music world, that means that there's competition left, right, and center. So as far as I'm concerned, by getting to where you've gotten speaks volumes of who you are and your talent.
Thank you. Thank you. And the best is yet to come. I want to shout out Joe Capone. He's here in the live. Thank you, Joe,
Yeah,
again.
Joel. Much love, brother. That's my boy right there, Armando.
Oh, he's a beauty.
He's a beauty. I've known that kid. I think we were 16 years old.
Really? Speaking of knowing someone, you know who I was with and I worked part time for? You know Rabbi Efredi from A Celebrity? He
Of
said he went to
course.
school with you.
Yeah, elementary school.
Yeah, he's a solid guy. He's a great guy. Yeah, a good friend.
Big up
He
to
says
a
hello.
celebrity limousine, my friend. The number one
They're
limousine
the
service in,
best.
in the GTA, baby.
Yeah.
So Armando, so like, let's go back. So you played hockey. And where did you say you went to school? Chicago?
So going back right for elementary school, I grew up at Jane and Shepherd, went to St. Martha. I was the kid, Mel. I was playing hockey, but I was in the choir or playing in the plays. I was drawn to plays and singing. I went to an all boys high school called Chaminade in Toronto. We competed with St. Mike's and stuff. I actually brought ball hockey there, and
My old school,
yeah,
baby.
you went to Chaminade.
I did.
Wow, so we're alumni.
We're alumni, baby.
That's great. Yeah, so I went to Chaminade for the hockey, right? And we ended up in grade 10. We won the championship. We ended up being St. Mike's in double overtime, something that they were supposed to kill us. But that time we had my good friend Mark Giordano. Him and I were like the 1-2 pair. Mark Giordano, he was the captain of the Flames. Now he's playing in Seattle, and we had a great team. And so my point is I've always went against the grain. I was never the kid to follow the pack. I was always the lone wolf. So get this, Mel. I'm at an all boys high school. I'm like, the tough, hard hitting defenseman, but yet I'm one of three people singing. I'm the choir boy singing the guitar at the masses in the gym. They called me choir boy. They started making fun of me. But at the same time, I was like, I'm following what I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. I love it. I love
So
stories
I
like
was
that,
always,
Armando.
yeah. So and then, oh yeah, I had one guy I never forget. He before I went to school, talked to my dad. Said your son's a good defenseman, but he's never gonna go Division 1. He's not good enough. I ended up going to Division 1. And then, oh yeah, you know what? You can't play pro. You're too slow. You're too big. You're not fast enough. I ended up playing pro, semi-pro, but still pro. I was never, and you know what? I was never the one to kiss ass. We were never ones to kiss ass, Mel. I was never one to, I wasn't gonna be your friend to gain something. We're not raised like that. My dad said always says you got to give up something to get something, and we just came from like if you could think of blue collar Toronto, North York, Leaf fan, the perfect type of citizens my parents are. That's where I come from. My sister and I. We come from humble, beautiful beginnings, like with respect. And I think if everyone had the same upbringing as me, the world would be a better place right now. I don't hear stories of all you hear is people coming up in the hood, which you know what, unfortunately it is. People are from all different walks of life, different religions, but there's never a story of someone who came from a good place and did good. It always has to be something like, you know what I mean? Oh, his dad got shot, or he comes from a broken home, or he was in a halfway home. Why can't there be a good story with a great upbringing? You know what I mean?
Of
That's where I want to
course.
be. I haven't heard a story like mine before, and I represent a culture. I represent where I come from, people. I represent. I want to be that person within my music as well.
I love it because what I was going to use is I was going to use the word tragic. You always hear about the tragic story of someone that came up and made it. And listen, I really respect that because when you're at rock bottom, to come up and have an upbringing like that, it is very difficult. But you're absolutely right. And I don't know if you remember him, bro, but I had him on my show. His name is Eli Martyr. Do you know Eli?
Rings a bell. Is a fighter.
No, well, he's an athlete, but he's probably the top stuntman in Toronto now. He was on my show. He's a super guy. But he came on the show and said, he calls me Krumel. He said, Krumel, I I didn't come from a crazy household. I had a really good household. But I did what I did because I was instilled with values of hard work, of dedication. And that's what it's like to be part of a family, an immigrant family that came to this country, maybe in the 50s and the 60s, and decided that they were going to work hard and support and provide for a family, even if the odds were against them. But to provide us, the kids, first generation Canadians, to come here and do something with their lives and provide for family. And that's why your story, for me, really hits my heart, Armando, because I agree.
Thank you.
We don't hear enough of those stories.
And it's not easy. Just because I come from a wonderful beginning doesn't mean it's easy, man. It's not
Nothing's
easy. You
easy.
gotta
Absolutely.
No, it's not easy, and it takes forever. God bless you if you're like a Justin Bieber overnight success, but that's not even an overnight success. It takes time. There's so much at work that I learned now that has to take place. You got to be the right timing. 50% of it's luck. I feel 50% of it's luck, but 50% of it always being prepared and giving your chance. Like if you don't play the lottery, you're never gonna win. You always got to give yourself a chance to win, and you got to put yourself. I try to make it a point. I try to connect with 20 new people a day. I don't always do it. If I do five, I still do five, but I try to connect with at least 20 new people a day. Hey, this is my song. Hey, I like to perform here. I
Yeah.
bother people. I don't stop.
Yeah. That's what you need to
I'm
do, man.
persistent. Yeah, because I'm 37, 38 in April. I don't know. Do you know how many 38-year-old guys do you know that are still, oh, bro, you should, why don't you, use your MBA, time to, write songs or, no, I'm doing what I need to do, two part-time jobs. I do what I, like this, before this I'll say that for another time. Before this thing hits,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, I was in Spain one day, one weekend, next day I was in Cancun. I was rocking, and then this thing hit, and then okay, I wrote some beautiful songs. It did something to you, but now that we got a hopefully a second chance, and if people can wake up from this matrix that we're in and start thinking for
Ah,
themselves, like where it's all a perception of fear and control. And the I don't know if you listened to, I started listening to this guy called David Icke, ICKE, and I won't get too political, but you asked me about me, and I'm sharing my views, and I think whoever's listening needs to hear this. He says the definition of freedom is the ability of how many choices you have to make. I can't get on a plane right now to go uh, to go sing in Manitoba or Vancouver or Switzerland. And when people ask me about my medical status, I tell them my medical information is just for me. If I wanted to, I could go, but you know what? I don't want to comply to this. Even if I am or I'm not, it's no one's business, and what's going on is wrong. And I that's a big thing for me right now too, to help educate people and let them see what's really going on. Because if I can't travel for my music, what am I going to do? Or if I
yeah.
choose not to travel, Mel?
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. I mean, listen, I don't want to get into the whole conversation, Armando, but
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the whole vaccine
No,
thing was
no.
a thing, and I got it. I'm double vaccinated, but I felt compelled because I have elderly parents. My father passed away a few months ago, and I have elderly
I'm so
parents.
sorry.
Thank you, brother. I had elderly parents, and I didn't want to be the guy, so I did it. And the point being is that I
I
made a
know.
choice. I made a choice.
I know, brother, and again, God rest your father's soul.
Thank you.
You made a choice, but the thing is when do they keep now the third and the fourth, and then they keep another variant? They just, for me, I see it, and it's a feeling more than what I see, because it just comes, for me, it goes against the perception of fear, and I just feel like at some point it's gotta, like, I think people now are being coerced into the third and fourth shot. Like, what, I can't go into a restaurant, or I can't go on a plane, or like I gotta wear a mask that's not healthy for me, because when you there's studies. Anyways, this is another thing. I just wanted to touch upon it because I'm a defender of humanity and freedom too. Like I'm a voice of reason for the people. And I wrote a song called "Who Stole Your Smile" and "Rise Up" because of this. So how it affected me, I try to bring it back in a positive way, and I respect everyone's decision. But what's going on, I right now, I don't like what's going on in Canada and in the world. and there's a lot of us that feel the same on my end. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we got to respect everyone's decisions, you know.
Agreed. And I think that just to kind of switch gears a little bit, Armando, is that it's just to
Yeah,
say that I can certainly appreciate that some of the choices that are being made, the government's choices, and the how can I say this, uh,
the mandates.
the mandates and all of this stuff. What's happening now is that is really affecting a lot of people. But what I love about what you're doing, Armando, is that uh, no matter what's happening, you're still moving forward. And I subscribe with two principles in life. Number one is I'm going to be better than I was yesterday, and number two is when I'm going to leave this place a little better than when I found it.
Yes,
And so whatever choices are being made or whatever things are being imposed in our lives, I will work around it and I will continue. I will continue to move forward because that's something that nobody can stop.
exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly.
So Armando, I want to get to the music part because I mean, this is happening. Like this is happening in your life. You're a star. Like you're a star. So we gotta talk
You're
about
too
how
kind, man.
we gotta talk about how all of this happened. How did it start? What was the entry point?
My mom always remembers. She has pictures when I was like 2 years old. I would always play with pots and pans, and like I said, in elementary school, I was always playing hockey or sports, but I was always drawn to the arts, like acting, singing. When I was in high school, I was always, again, in the choir playing hockey, and hockey always took precedence. When I was 18, my sister bought me a guitar, my first acoustic guitar, not this one, and I put it away for 6 months. I didn't touch it. So after I broke up with my first love or first crush, whatever you want to call it, when I was 18, I started picking it up, and I was just like, I just played two chords, and it was called "I Woke Up This Morning." And then from the first two strings, I self-taught myself guitar. I didn't know what I was. I still don't know what I'm doing. Like I don't know. I hear it and I feel it. I don't know the how to write or anything. I know a little bit of music theory from being playing the trumpet in high school, but I'm self-taught in the piano and guitar, and I feel music before I hear it. So when I was in Europe, when I started playing, when I went over to Europe, wherever I was playing hockey, I was always meeting with the local DJs, and I had some songs. So I always was recording, and wherever I went, I would for fun perform. So when I was in Detroit, we would go to Michigan State, and I had a few songs. I put all the boys and everyone like at the parties knew some of my songs, so I would put it out. Then when I went to Europe and Belgium, I was playing hockey, but then you'll find me in the clubs performing, playing songs. So it was just organically uh, an evolution of what I was sincerely drawn to and what I love to do. And I wasn't good. Like I hear some of my demos. I wasn't good back then. Like I was shit. Excuse my French, but I wasn't that good. But I got better. Yeah, I wasn't good. I hear some of my demos. I'm like ah. So eventually, I didn't take any voice lessons, even though my sister is one of the top sopranos and amazing vocal teacher. She has her master's in vocal performance. So when I was in France, I met this DJ from the south of France. I was dating a girl after I played hockey. I stayed in the south of France for a summer, so which was great. Some of the best times of my life. And I met this big clubbing DJ. His name's Fed Pelicario, and we made this song called "Where the F Are You," and it went number 6 in Spain, and we performed it in the clubs in front of thousands of people, and that was my first real taste. I'm like, wow, that's awesome, and I wanted to do music. I just didn't know how, and I ended up I stopped playing hockey and I started pursuing a career in something else. And then when I stopped hockey because it was time to stop and I wanted to do music, I realized that I missed being in Europe. So I contacted for 2 years this guy called DJ Antoine. He has some big hits back in the day. That "Welcome to Saint Tropez" song, and it's called "My Cherie." And he was a big deal in Europe 10 years ago. He still
I
is
know
now.
exactly who it is.
84. Yeah.
Sure, man. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
Yeah, so 84 messages. On the 84th message on Facebook, he replied to me. A year and a half of, hey, how are you? Trying to build a relationship. I have a song for you. And this is the time when I was playing at the piano bars in Toronto, making $80 a night, all you can drink. That's where I learned. I learned it in the times where I wasn't making the money or making a lot of money, but that I was in the trenches. I was meeting people, the socialites in Toronto. I was playing at the piano bar. I was the piano guy. It was called Salute Piano Bar in Yorkville. I was there every Thursday and Saturday, and I was just playing my same 12 songs, and people liked it, and they came.
Wow.
And that's where I learned in those times. Something happened to me there, and I just met people, and I kept on going. And then when DJ Antoine got back to me, he signed a song which still hasn't been released. In fact, he gave it back to me after he didn't release it. It was called Alive. And from there, when he saw that I had the talent and he heard something in me, he opened the door for me. He gave me a chance. CML, and whatever you're doing, I even in my what I read and research, whether it's Nursett or Mike Tyson or anyone, someone has to give you a chance. Someone of influence has to give you a chance. You can't do it alone. Whether it is someone investing in you, someone has to give you a chance and believe in you. If you don't have that, first you have to believe in yourself, but someone has to open the door. And you better be ready when you go through the door because it might not open again. So I went into that door like, you're not closing this on me. I'm here. I went like this.
Yeah, man.
And here we are now, man. He took me on tour with him. He hooked me up to the life. I just, here I am. I'm flying out to Spain, put up in a 5-star hotel. He was coming from Switzerland. I was in Spain in Lloret del Mar. Now, I'll wrap it up quick, but I'm excited to tell this story.
Please,
you walk in, there's champagne. Champagne in the room. Armando, welcome. I have it was a really cool, the first, like, I got picked up by there's a driver with my name, Armando. I fly into Barcelona, Armando, music. I'm like, this is my first. I'm like, wow, this is cool. And this is before I had any songs with him. He just heard a demo. So then I went on tour with him for the first 2 weeks. Just the lifestyle. And like we went to Saint-Tropez, Spain, Italy. And I'm like, holy cow. Like I promised myself when I would come back, I want to write music with this guy. So I ended up writing half of his album. We wrote three big songs. El Paradiso was the first one. He flew me up to Switzerland. When we got to Switzerland, he surprised me. We had to go like Toronto to Ottawa in a helicopter. We were there in like 30 minutes. He surprised me in a helicopter. We shot the video. Hugh Blow wrote this. Hugh Blow sponsored the song. But before all that, Mel, we were in the studio, me and my boy Jimmy the Dealer, who's on the song, and we were slaving for 2 weeks, making sure we got that right hook.
Yeah.
Sleepless nights. And then when we had it, we gave him the idea. Him and his producer mixed it up, and he goes, hey, bro, we're shooting the music video December 26th in Saint-Moritz, which is like the Saint-Tropez of the Swiss Alps. And it's forever in my heart, man. And from there, then I wrote the World Cup song. I was supposed to be the singer of the World Cup song, but the politics of music, this is very important. I could have blew the whole thing up, the relationship. I had to swallow a tough one and let another fellow Canadian who's awesome, Carl Wolf, be the singer of the song that I wrote, that I went to get Fido Blanco. I got him on the track. And this is like, for 1 month, this guy, DJ Antoine, he ignored me. And then in an email, was, hey, bro, we're going to go with Carl Wolf. You still get your royalties. I go, it's not about the royalties. I knew it was going to be a World Cup song. I knew they were going to be flown out to Switzerland and perform. I knew that it was so, that was a crossroads. I let it be known. So the decision was either for the whole rest of my life, I could say, I wrote all the English parts. So I say I wrote it, but I co-wrote it because there's some Spanish part. But I could say forever I wrote or co-wrote a FIFA World Cup song. Or I could just blow it up and keep it for myself. And so that's where I had to, and even to this day, Mel, it kind of bothers me. But at the same time, my song got out there. People danced to it. So I had to change my perception. I had to see, getting mad is a choice. Being happy is a choice. I'm starting to learn. You choose how you want to feel, and you see if the cup's half full or half empty. So that was a very big learning lesson for me. And after that, it just motivated me. Then I came with Symphony, and that's still one of the most it's one of my most special songs, Symphony. And actually, I'm singing it tonight at a charity event for my friend, about 100 people for a Tory charity event. So, um, man, I'm blabbering on. Am I going all over the place
No,
here?
man,
Or
this is awesome. This is what I wanted. This is exactly what I wanted, Armando.
you
Because
got me in the zone, right?
yeah,
So
man, that's what I want. You see, that's to me the speaking from the heart bit, because listen, that's a big story. Like I can't believe that that even happened, but you call it the politics of
yeah, they
music.
took my World Cup song away. They took it away from me, and I could have blew it up, but I said, you know what? Fine. If I ever wanted to re-record it, because I didn't sell the master, I still could. But you know what? It was a good. The song was going to get justice, but for me, I realized that I wanted to be a singer, not just a songwriter. I want to choose the songs I want to sing on, and then if you want me to write you a song, I'll write you a song. But when I fall in love with a song, I gotta see. Now I learned that there's a songs for Armando. I have certain songs, a style that are for me, and then if they're not for me, then I'll try to pitch them to other people. But that's another business, right? But man, I learned that World Cup song was really thank you, Joe. Symphony is one of my favorite songs, man. It's still on the radio here in Toronto after 3 years. So shouts out to Z103.5, The Hammer, Tony Monaco.
That's
Um,
it.
so once I started doing things on my own, because you have to make things happen on your own. You have to make some noise on your own, Mel. You
Yeah.
can't just, no one's gonna, like, I was talking to these guys at the radio station 10 years ago when I wasn't good. I know I wasn't good, but then I'm like, oh, I'm good. No, I wasn't. So you have to sometimes, like, when you get ignored, you keep persisting, or just say you got to get better. Okay, fine. That's not good. I'll come with another one. I'll come with another one. I'm in the studio. I'm okay. What's this? What's this? And then you evolve. But it takes time, man. It takes time. When you plant a seed, you can't eat the apple next day. It takes months. And there's got to be soil, and there's got to be sun, and there's got to be rain. But you know what I learned? Things in life have to be crushed and broken. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I remember, I'm not so much religious, but I'm spiritual. I remember when I was in church, this priest said, think seed, olives has to be crushed and broken so you can have olive oil. Grapes have to be crushed and broken so you can have wine. A mother's womb has to be crushed and broken so it can give life. So if you feel crushed and broken, that might be the best thing for you, because it gives new life, a new way for you, for your purpose, or one of your purposes. So that always sticks with me, man.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I feel you. You don't know. It raised the hair on my arms. What you just said. That's the
Thank you, Mel,
idea.
because I can't fight anymore in hockey. And when I went out in hockey and someone bothered me, I was like a wild animal, like in a good way, not in a bad way. Like I was a competitor. Like I was in the corners. In the corners, you're never coming out. Like if we were in the corners, I'm coming out. I never lost a battle in the corners. Look, when I had to fight, I had to fight, but I fought because I wanted to, not because someone tapped me. The day someone tapped me, it was like, you know, and I can't do that right now. So I gotta sometime I bring that fierceness into music, but I see it's all here now, and I can't be when someone. I've learned it took time, man. When someone um, belittles you or tries to discredit you or belittle you, you got to just kind of take a step back, and then you choose not to get mad. You choose to keep that in, and then turn it into something where you put it in your music or you put it in your training. So where am I going with this? Where I'm at right now is I played F1 in Monaco. I played at the New York Fashion Week. I played in front of 10,000, 5,000 people in Europe. I did the Italy. I did the tour, but I want more. But unfortunately, if you're not signed to a label, you can only invest so much in your song before the credit starts building up. And people don't talk about this artist. You see them with the new swag, the new glasses, they're driving the nice car. You don't know the story. You don't know the money. You make money. You have to make a living in performing, unless you're Justin Bieber, or unless you have a hit. And right now, performing was tough, but it's coming along, right? So
Yeah. I want to
I'm
read you
at a point
something.
where I'm at.
I want to read
Yeah.
you something, Armando. Just to sort of talk about. There's a dear friend of mine. His name's Albert Wong, and he's part of this curated group that I have here in Ottawa called Team Wolfpack, and it's a curated group of business leaders, heart-centered business leaders that really maybe have had some success in business, but really value in giving back. And when I do my vision board workshop, I always use Albert's example of his self-love vision board, like his self-love piece of the vision board. And what I love about it is you talked about somebody belittling you. And I just want to go there for a second, because his desired state on his board, Armando, is this: I love and accept myself unconditionally. I honor the light within me. I nurture and shine my light. I do not allow others to dim my light. I stand in my power now.
Wow. That's huge, man, because you do choose to be happy, you choose to be sad. If I cut you off on the road, you take that personally. I didn't mean it towards you, but it's what's going on in your head. You got to
Of
choose to
course.
be upset or not. And it's you're more stronger and you're more at peace when you realize that. And it's I'm telling you, David Icke. I'm listening to this guy, David Icke. David
Yeah.
Icke. I get some good stuff for him, man. And the opposite of live is evil. If you spell live backwards, it's evil. So there's love and hate. There's
Yeah.
God, and then there's the devil.
100%. 100%. And I think that what's important even to note about that, Armando, is just this idea that we only have there's two things. And I think Ashton Kutcher, believe it or not, said this at one of the like teen choice awards when he was doing some presentation, and this was years back, and I used it in one of my meditations, where he said, you can do two things with life: you can live it, or you can create it. And what I love about what your path and forging your own path, Armando, is you're creating a life. Yeah, we've had some pretty serious challenges. The world's been in the toilet for 20 months, 21 months, whatever it is. And yet you continue to persevere. You continue to share your voice, to share your voice with the world. And to me, that's a powerful thing, man. That's the most powerful thing.
Thank you, man. And you know what? It's when no one seems to care. Because when you put your heart into something, these late nights, it's you love it, and then when you share it, we're today's society, we're just used to other people telling us how good or bad we are. And if you put something out and not really, there's not the response that you want, if you're not strong, if you're not these experiences that led me to where I was, if I wasn't that guy when no one was listening at the piano bar when I was 21 in Toronto, if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be doing music anymore because people don't care. It's impossible. You put out a song, you put it on Spotify, but it's more than that. It's like, hey, this song is because of what's going on here. And then I reach out to certain people, and now my song Rise Up is going to be in a film based on what's going on. I just got the confirmation this week. So you got to put your channels in your mind. You got to turn the frequency on to positive, and then it will come. It will take time, but
Yeah.
with the music stuff, man, it's like I put out 5 or 6 songs this year, and I did my own stuff. But then I'm not putting out any more right now because I have many, but I want to get the one. I want to give the ones that I've brought to life a chance. And the thing about being an independent artist, I could drop an acoustic song, I could drop a dance song, I could drop a Latino song. No one could tell me what to do. The minute you get signed, they tell you what to do. So I love being an independent artist right now. There's pros and cons.
Of course.
My
Of
biggest
course
thing is
there
just
is.
getting my music out there and performing right now, and
Yeah.
getting and like sometimes these booking agents, I do have a decent resume. Like it's nothing, it's decent. Like if I think it's decent, I think it's competitive. But these guys sometimes they don't get back to you, and it's like, yeah. So you hit them up again, and then you try to go above them, then you go
Yeah.
somewhere else. Then and the thing is, the ones that don't want to pay you, the ones, oh, it's good exposure. I got enough exposure. You go to work for free? This is what I do.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But I love that you said to Armando that it's a little bit of luck, but it's a little bit of hard work and determination. But you have some people in your life that are really great and have supported you. I want to talk a little bit about Anthony. I want to talk about a little bit about Jimmy the Dealer. Talk to me how these people have really played a role in your life.
That's a great. So this is a great story. I'm glad you brought those two up. When I got back from playing, when I was 29, I believe it was 2013. When I got back from playing in Europe, I reconnected with Anthony. We were on the same hockey team growing up, this and that. And then there was about a span of 15 years that we kind of just we lost touch. We were kids, whatever. Then I saw him at one of the local bakeries called Nino da Versa. He was always there having his espresso, and we connected. And then we just started talking. He's solid. He's pizza pana, we say in Italian, a piece
That's
of bread.
Right. Piece of bread.
Loyal, very loyal. His word is his word. We call him Puggy. So we connected at this bakery, and we started talking. I'm like, do you know anyone with studio? Like, I need to record a demo for this guy, like DJ Antoine. He hit me up. Like, I need to do a demo. I need a studio nearby. So he made up some phone calls. I always get this guy's name wrong. Big Phil or Heavy Steve, one of them. And if he sees this, he's gonna laugh. So Big Phil or Heavy Steve, I think it's Heavy Steve. I never met him. Gave Anthony Jimmy the Dealer's number, but Anthony didn't know Jimmy the Dealer. So Anthony connected me with Jimmy the Dealer without ever knowing who Jimmy was, just through that connection with Heavy Steve. You with me?
I'm with you.
And I go to Jimmy the Dealer, and you see this guy with his 6'1", this guy with a hat. He's like, who's this big friggin' guy? It's like, what, this guy can sing? And then when he saw me sing, we did 1 for 1, then 2 for 2. I was 9 for 9 with Jimmy the Dealer. And then at some point, I'm like, Jimmy, you want to jump on? So it just happened so organically. So half of DJ Antoine's album was written at that time. We did this El Paradiso, the Symphonies, the La Cantina. Jimmy went on some stuff. And that's how I met Jimmy, through Anthony. But they've never met before. So then when we bring them full circle. Yeah, and then Anthony got into his promotion. A Squared Promotion started doing his thing. Again, with the stuff, the whole COVID stuff, it was tough. But whenever he still does his 1 or 2 things a year with Lo Greco Promotions in Niagara Falls and here in Toronto, he always brings Jimmy and us together. And we're working on something with Armando and Jimmy the Dealer, with Anthony, with A Squared. We're trying to get Jimmy and I on tour with a 6-song EP because we have all this beautiful music. And we're thinking of just trying to do something different where you got a singer and a rapper from Toronto and trying to do a thing. So, it's in the works. But again, you need financing. You need to think. You gotta, and then life gets in the way, Mel. Then you got to work 1 or 2, 3 part-time jobs. Then you got to eat. So it's not easy, man. You got to be focused. And as much as I call it a career, it is a career, but it's, if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to be a hobby. If you treat it like your career and a professional, it's going to be, I've done things and I've sacrificed things. And sometimes I had to pay to get where I had to go, to get the footage, to get the connections.
Yeah.
For example, I went New York Fashion Week. I had an opportunity. I got myself there. There was an opportunity. I performed in New York Fashion Week. Forever on my website, armandomusic.com, you'll see me performing in New York Fashion Week. Then you'll see me 5,000 people in front of Salzburg Arena a month and a half ago. Someone who doesn't know me doesn't know if it's paid or not paid. Holy shit, this guy's doing something. And it's really no one's business, but I'm being real. I'm telling you, it's all smoke and mirrors sometimes.
Of course it is, man.
Half of the people. Yeah.
Joe wrote, shout out to A Squared Promotions.
Yeah, Joe's a beauty, man.
I love it. Armando, I guess that the next thing that I want to talk about is the actors, listen, actors joke about this all the time, that if you're an actor in the film industry, you're probably a waiter at a restaurant, right? Awaiting your next big hit, or you're waiting your next big gig. So, talk us through that, because like you say, you had to get some other work.
Yeah. I drive a celebrity limos part-time for his clients. I pick up some
Nice.
actors. I picked up the CEO of Paramount Pictures. You gotta. I feel it out first because you're there for business. You can't really, but I feel it out. I'm a people person. When people start talking, oh, how long you been doing this, and then you tell them your life story. You tell them a little bit what you're doing. You get their curiosity. So it's cool who you meet. You drive some people in the Escalade up to their private jet. So it's pretty cool. I do it part time, and on the other side, I actually work with Anthony's brother-in-law, the swimming pool builders here in Toronto. Part time, I'm doing some swimming pool stuff where I'm helping with building pools, delivering material, and that's how I'm able to keep afloat. I do have an MBA. I got my BA and my MBA, but I'm not doing anything with it because I just want to do music. If I have a plan B, there'll never be a plan A, Mel. I'm plan A. There's no plan B. I can't fail. There's my grandparents came to this country. My parents, their sacrifice. I can't fail. I won't. It's not failing. I just want to do music. Yeah. I want to touch people. I want to do music. I'm not doing it to be famous. I'm doing it because it's the fire burning in me. My quote, and this is my quote: "Don't die with your song still inside you." When I go through this life, when my soul leaves this earth, I don't want to have any more music in my heart. I want to leave it here.
Yeah. Where do you?
That's what I'm doing it for.
And that's a great thing, and it sort of prompted this question. But so, where do you get your inspiration from? What motivates you? What inspires you, Armando?
I'm telling you, I don't know. If someone right now were to I honestly, I don't know. Every time it's a different thing. But you know what I do know? I believe that I have now. Before I just thought it's something I have. I know I have something, but I suppress that. I think, no, don't think of yourself like that. No. You have to think I'm good. I'm that good. You have to say that to yourself. If you don't say it to yourself, if you don't believe it, no one else is going to believe it. But so I self-motivate and try to self-talk to myself, but I try to still be humble. So, for example, I wrote, sometimes it comes the melody already, the hook. And sometimes if I sit on the piano or sometimes if I just strum on the guitar, it's like. So then, if for example, this is Rise Up. This is how it started. There were prophets, kings, and queens, yeah. Yeah. They were looking for a reason, causing all the crimes and treasons. Nah. There's a million miles between us, like Jupiter to Venus. Rise up, rise up. History will be us, the people, they will free us. And then this song was inspired from the bullshit that I saw. And from time, generation, there was prophets, kings, and queens. There was prophets, kings, and queens, yeah. Alliance and allegiance, yeah. They were looking for a reason, causing all the crimes and treasons, yeah. Anthony actually put a couple words in there too. I actually wrote it in his garage. I got an instrumental, and I wrote that in his garage, and he actually has a word or two in there. So going back to events, experiences, I have to feel something to write it. So everything I write about is an experience. It's not, unless I'm writing for someone else, right?
Right.
To answer your question, I have no friggin' idea. I just love doing it. Like it's like a puzzle. When I hear, it's like I'm decoding. Like, so if I play like. So I would record that, and then I try to hear a melody. And once I have a melody, I try to put words that sound like the melody.
It's amazing.
And the thing is, when you write a song, it's not like when you write a song, it's not like the first to the second. It's not like the beginning to the end. You could be writing the end, and then you put, okay, this is the hook. I'm singing the hook. This is in the middle. Okay, now I got to go to the beginning. And then Mel, I have no clue, man. But I know that when I get a melody, I'm gonna write something. If I feel it, I could write it in an hour, 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes a day. But I always go record the idea first.
So Armando, but is there any artist? Is
Yeah.
there any artists that like you look up to that say, wow, like this
Yes.
guy's like really good?
Yes. I love Coldplay. I love One Republic, Ryan Tedder. Um, those were my two really big inspirations. But I listen to a lot. The funny thing is, I don't listen to a lot of other music. I listen to my music.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the people who inspired me, like One Republic, Ryan Tedder, too late to
Yeah,
apologize.
great track.
It's too late. You know that song?
Of course.
Coldplay, One Republic, did it for me, and some of these. I was raised in the 2011 2010 EDM, Alesso, like the real EDM, like So that I still go back to that. The EDM, the dance stuff, is giving me the stage to perform. But I think the real Armando is this the guitar and piano. That's the real Armando music. So I'm still trying to find my sound, believe it or not. Because for so long I've been like under this guy's umbrella or this guy's umbrella. You know what I mean?
That's amazing. It sounds beautiful. It's so funny. Even with where you are, that acoustic sound of the guitar just fills
I'm in
the
my
microphone.
room, man. Yeah. See, that's another thing. And I sound the way I sound live. Like, so there's a lot of people, and I don't want to like put people down or other artists. Like, I was recently at a show, there was auto-tune, these rappers, and they put these auto-tune. It's like, it's not them, but that's the sound that's in. And another thing that's very important and people should realize is DJs. You said something at the beginning of the show. Anyone who wants to get into music, it's very easy right now for you to be a DJ, for someone to be a DJ who has money. You know the right people, you have the right connections, someone else is producing for you. People pay whatever they pay to press a button and you work. But I want to bring live back. I want to bring live, like, where are the times where people pay to see like the live guy on the guitar, or like, you know what I mean? Nowadays the DJs have taken over that, and they're not, I wouldn't say most of them, I would say even 60-70% of them don't even make their own music. They're just the brand, but they pay to see that brand over a real musician. So that's kind of like the dirtiness of the music industry. Like, the Rolling Stones will sell out any stadium, but it takes 20 DJs to sell at the same stadium. That's why they have festivals.
Yeah, of course. Of course. They need that.
I want to bring back the live artist. I want to bring back, for example, Symphony. I wrote it, got it to Jimmy. So I co-wrote it with Jimmy. Kidman, and shouts out to Kidman, one of my good friends, a great producer, produced it. We send it over to our friend over in Switzerland. He gives us a couple bucks. It becomes his song featuring us. But we made it. Zero on their end. But that's the music industry. But that song got signed to this guy, but that make the song go round and round. But you see the give or take? We could have kept it for ourselves. No one might have heard of it because we tried. No one cared. But as soon as the bigger guy signs it, it's his song featuring us, then it gets around. Because he has the pull, the channel. Do you see how this thing works?
Yeah, man, of course.
You got to know when to give and take.
Well, I mean, isn't it like that in every industry, though? We used to say it's not what you know, it's who you know.
But I'm coming, Mel. The best is yet to come. I'm coming.
Listen, it's written in the stars, man. There's no.
That's I have one of those songs. It was written in the stars, man. I have a song like that, man. See? Okay, I'm writing that down. That has to come out next.
See, there you go.
Stars. It was written in the stars.
I love it.
Sorry, yeah.
I just Armando, what I love about it is that I'm a passion guy. My Italian mom didn't say to me when I was starting Muay Thai almost 25 years ago, "Figlio mio, why do you got to go do this job? My son, why do you have to?"
You did it 25 years ago?
Yeah. I've been at it a long time, man, a long time. And it wasn't until 2014 that one of my students ended up in the UFC.
You see how long it takes?
That's why I feel you. Your story is so powerful for me, Armando, because I've been there, man. I'm 40, almost 47 years old, and my body, bro, my body's sore.
You look great.
Thank you. I got myself cleaned up for the show.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's okay.
Yeah, man. I'm still private training. I'm teaching these guys, but the story that you have, Armando, is so powerful to me because I lived it. My mother said to
You lived
me,
it in
"Well,
your own
can't you?"
way. You
That's
lived.
right. You're going to go do this. Why do you like punching people in the face? She said. And then when I went to Thailand, the biggest joke was, "Hey, you going to China?" And I go, "Close, ma, close to China." She didn't know any better. She didn't know where Thailand was.
Oh. And you see, you went to a place. So you see, that's funny. I just had this conversation yesterday with a friend. My friend goes, Armando, why don't you go to Italy for a year? You have your Italian passport, your music's there, your network's there. And I
Yeah.
thought to myself, Mom, you know what? I might have to do Italy for 6 months to put myself in the right environment to win. Now, when you went to Thailand, you thought you were a good fighter. Those guys live, breathe, wake up. What did you learn there, Mel? What did you
Oh,
learn there? How good were they?
it was life changing, Armando. I mean, I could have a show just talking about what it's like to live in a foreign country where you don't speak the language, you know. But I'll tell you if I can share a story with you, I'll tell you one. And the
Please.
story was this: I'm teaching in a local government funded school. I'm teaching English, so I would go training in the morning. I would come back home. I'd shower. I'd put a suit, and I would go to train or to teach English to uh, an elementary school that had a junior high school in it as well. And this was in a very, very poor part of Chiang Mai.
Culture shock.
So I'm there and I'm getting on my little, I'm walking to the school because the school is literally across the street. And this father of one of the kids calls me over, Armando, and he says, Kumel, money, come here, come here. So I go over, I say, Swaddy Cup. And I know a couple of words. I'm much better now, but I knew a couple of words. And he had in his hand, Armando, barbecue pork sticks with a little bit of sticky rice. And he says in Thai, Kin kao doi kan. And what that means is, let's eat together. Armando, this guy, pardon the expression, but this guy didn't have $2 he could pee on. But because I was helping his son learning English and maybe provide him with an opportunity to do something, this man with broken chabatalis, dirty shorts, ripped t-shirt came to me and offered food to me. And I said, no, no, my pelai, no, thank you. You're so kind, please, you eat. I come back a year later and I remember training a couple of very wealthy entrepreneurs, business people that were,
Don't tell me it's one of the kid. It's the kid.
no, it was just, he was, what it was the contrast in the story. A poor guy smiled every day, would give food to me when he didn't have anything,
Oh
and I
yeah.
come back to this country where they are making tens of millions of dollars a year, and they wouldn't give you 10 cents for the fear that they were going to go poor.
Appreciation. Wow.
That was a story
Wow.
that changed my life, Armando, because I really appreciate it and I'm grateful for everything. I look at my little home in Ottawa, Ontario, which I never ever thought I would be here, and I just say, I wake up and I say thank you. I'm so grateful for everything that I have. And my listen, Armando, I'm a clarity coach. I want to go and be a coach. I'm not an authority in that space. And it's tough. It's so hard because everybody and their grandmother's a life coach. But I believe. You know how you believe in your heart that you can sing and share your voice with the world and leave all the music that's inside you here before you go? I believe the same thing about what I can do for people, that I can teach them a little bit more than just a little bit of IQ and Muay Thai, but I could help them by asking them the right questions so that they can remember who they are.
Wow. See now, sorry, I'm listening to you. Just by you saying before you go, see, I got a problem. It's a good problem. I as soon as if you someone says something, I have an epiphany. So you said before you go. Before you go, I need to know I swear to God. Oh, I need to know, where do you go?
Goosebumps.
I need, yeah, know I live, but you never doubt me. I'm telling you, this how it starts. Yeah, and I never thought of it, but you really wanna talk about me. No, and there's a hook. Before you go, I need to know. I need to know, where do you go? That's how it fucking starts.
Holy shit, man.
I swear to God, I can't make this up.
Holy
I
shit,
swear,
man.
I'm writing before you go. I'm in the shower, I'm in the car, I get a melody, but before you go, see, as soon as I'm done, I'm gonna go. Before you go, I need to know. That's the hook, man.
Wow. I can't
Tell me
believe it,
that will
man.
never happen again. I will put my music career. That will never happen on any other interview. I wish it happens, but
Oh, man.
that's me, man.
You gave
That's
me
me.
goosebumps, Armando. You gave me goosebumps, man. Listen, Armando,
I'm
I
gonna
know you
save
got
this interview for
I
when it
I,
happens.
I know you have other things to do today, but listen, will you do my audience the honor of playing, either Rise Up or whatever it is that you want to do? Will you play for us a song,
Yeah,
brother?
no problem. I'll play Rise Up acoustically. I've never really played it acoustically, but I'll do it for you guys. Okay? I just
Huh. Live on the Coffee and Biscotti Show.
There were prophets, kings, and queens, yeah. Alliance and allegiance. Wow. They were looking for a reason, causing all the crimes and treason. Wow. There's a million miles between us, like Jupiter and Venus. Rise up, rise up. History will be us, the people, they will free us. A fire, a fire. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Horizon, horizon. We were flying over regions, but they clipped our wings and seized them. We were flying over regions, but they clipped our wings and seized them. Whoa. There's a million miles between us, like Jupiter to Venus. Rise up, rise up. History will be us, the people, they will free us. Fire, fire. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. 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 Rise up, rise up. Just a little.
Oh, the Poutine Nation, you're here, buddy. Are you? What a show to miss, Poutine Nation. He's my dear friend Armando, who helps me moderate the show, and he's away. I think he's in L.A. and Poutine Nation. I got to tell you, brother, what a show! Holy shit, Crew Mel's got goosebumps from all of that. Wow, man, absolutely
Thank you,
fantastic,
man.
Armando. I don't know what
Thank
to
you,
say,
buddy.
man. All I can say is that I feel I'm an energy guy. I'm an energy guy, Armando. That's what I feel. I look at you,
It's a
I
big
create
thing, energy, eh? Energy is a thing.
huge,
I didn't realize
huge.
how big it is.
It's everything because that's everything is energy. How many times have you walked into a space where you just you just knew the vibe wasn't good and you just said to your boys, "Hey man, you know what? Something's not right. I got to go. I got to make a move."
Is that your sixth sense? That's the
Yes,
energy, right? Your
that's
gut.
energy, man. That's your gut. That's
It
the
never does
you.
you wrong, right?
It never does you wrong, but you have to listen to it. You have to listen to it. And I'll tell you that I just I look at you, Armando. I look at you, Armando, and I look at your energy, and I created the space today so that you could come here and be open and vulnerable and share your story. Talk about the trials and tribulations of being a musician in today's day and age where it's difficult to go and take a flight, where normally you would just go to a place, buy a ticket, and fly. And then you singing a song called Rise Up
About that. About
about
that.
that. And
And rise up, I mean, not in a bad way. Where rise up is not like go burn stuff and be violent. Rise up is rise up. If you believe, stand up for what you believe in a democratic political way, not in a bad way.
of course, of
That whole
course.
thing, they were changing like the seasons. Greed had turned them into demons. Big pharma paying off the politicians. Conspiracy theorist? Okay, history will see. We were flying over regions, but they clipped our wings and seized them. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. I could fly last year. I could still fly if I wanted to, but I choose not to. But because I have something to say. What's the next? What's next, Mel? They're gonna put blood. They're gonna do blood tests for the people who have fake passports. When does it stop, buddy? So if you don't stop what I'm trying to say is like I believe what I'm doing is good. I come from a humble beginning. My like that gut feeling for me, it's not just what's going on. It's the mandates that don't make sense that go against who we are as Canadians and as human beings that
Yeah.
I'm standing up for, and I'm asking questions. And the fact that you're asking questions and people are still censored, people should think about that. Why am I being censored, or why is so and so being censored when all he says is freedom is a choice? And the more you can tell how free you are based on the ability to make your own choices. Right now, people who are unvaccinated can't freaking go in a restaurant or on a plane. That doesn't sound Canadian to me. With this, usually when you're like 70% vax, there's herd immunity, but they keep throwing in variants. Who's writing the script? I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough, my friend. Fair enough. But in the end, I will always go back to how I feel. And in a book called Neil Donald Walsh wrote a book called Conversations with God, and in it the representation of God says, "I don't come to you in words because words are limiting. You could love a banana split and you can love your partner, but we both know that that love is different. So the way that I come to you is with feelings because feelings are undeniable."
Wow.
And so when I listen to your music and I listen to your voice and I listen to the things that you're doing, regardless of all the politics in the world, I really do believe that your hard work, your determination will prove to be very powerful and you will change lives with your
Th-
music.
Thank you, man. And my heart's in the right place. And in music, that's why if I even like what Joe said, that's his favorite song, a symphony, and a couple people when you get that one comment or I get that one person, and there's a few that reach out to me, hey man, your song helped me, or I love your song. That's more than giving me $1,000, man. Because I'm in someone's heart, I'm in someone's feeling, and that's
Exactly.
priceless to me.
Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Armando,
I'm
you're
making a difference.
that's so
I'm trying
important.
at least.
That's it, man. And you're doing it through your voice. You're doing it through your music, and I love that. And that's something
Thank
that
you.
really touches my heart. Armando, I know you've got to go do a sound check. You're playing tonight, so I'm super
Yeah,
grateful.
sorry.
I hope you'll come
Thank you,
back
buddy.
again,
And
man.
thank what? When am I coming back? That's the question. And I thank you for doing what you're doing. And maybe we can you add more people to this one day where we can have like two, or is there only two people
No, no, you
usually?
can certainly add more people. You can certainly add it. I was hoping that
We gotta
Anthony was
bring.
going to jump on for a little bit.
We'll bring next time. There'll be Anthony and Jimmy the Dealer. We'll do it at the studio like in the new year when we have our new song come out or our mini EP. How about that?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome, Armando. I would love for you to feature it live on the Coffee and Biscotti show.
And check out the song Armando and Sensei Musica featuring Jimmy the Dealer, Cappuccino. It's a great song. We wrote it for Nurse Set, Salt Bay. You know that guy who goes,
That's right.
Cappuccino.
Hey, can I tell you
All right.
something?
Thank you so much, Mel.
Anthony sent it to me. He said I want to talk to you about it. It's going to be the intro to the Coffee and Biscotti show.
No problem. No problem.
Cappuccino, baby. I love it. Listen, thank you again, Armando. I'm honored to spend this time with you. Thank you. Continue to share your voice. Continue to shine your light because you have so much beautiful light that the world needs.
Thank you so much, Mel. It means the world to me, man. You too, brother. Okay. Thank
All
you
the
for
best.
everyone who's joining, who's about to see this, who will see this. We'll talk soon, okay, brother?
All the best, brother.
Thank
Ciao
you.
for now.
Thank you, guys. Ciao, ciao.
Wow. That was, listen, I don't swear very much on my show, but that was fucking awesome. I mean, just another beautiful soul. Another reason why that I continue to do this show because it's about sharing stories and sharing voices. The guy's got the voice of an angel, you know? And it's really, really super great. Super great. Yeah, thank you, Sandra Mio. Keep on uplifting spirits. Absolutely. Thank you to everyone who joined us today on the Coffee and Biscotti show. We're gonna have a little bit of an early one today. Poutine Nation, if you're around still, then please make sure that you rate us somewhere. Thank you to Mr. Joe Capone. Thank you, brother. I'm super grateful for you introducing me to Armando. And of course, what we didn't talk about was that Anthony, A Squared Promotions, actually was one of my students. How do you like that for a bit of coincidence, eh? A little coinky dinky, as they say. But he was one of my students. My God, must be back in 2006. But Poutine Nation, I think that this guy should have a Twitch channel. Let me tell you, we got to talk to Armando about getting a Twitch channel because I'm sure that there would be a ton of people who would come and listen to it. That's what we're going to talk about next for sure. You know, I was thinking about next week's show, thinking about what we're going to do next week. And you know, Josh, there was a thought that I would end off the year show because next week is going to be our last show for 2021. And you know, Poutine Nation, if you're around next Friday, many people have asked me to be the guest, and I was going to have you, Josh, interview me on my own show. Maybe that's going to happen. We have a full week to figure it out, but you know, it would be interesting to see because, you know, everybody's got a story. And just like Armando today, came from a good family and is still doing great things. And that needs to be celebrated. Today, we are going to Colonel MC to join the Friday Funklectic Raid Train. Absolutely. Friday X Funklectic Raid Train. That's where we are going. If you're here on the Coffee and Biscotti show, be prepared. You're going to hear some good tunes coming up. Poutine Nation, yes, we will discuss, my friend. I hope that you traveled safe and that you are enjoying some sunshine. Super grateful to Joe Capone, Sandra Mio, even Two Tums, Mr. Islop. Thank you for joining us today, and the rest that came on to the show. Up Level Studios, Vince Plus. Thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to be here, even as sick. I'm sorry if I sound a little like Mickey Mouse today, but I came on here because the show must go on. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Look forward to seeing you all next week on the Coffee and Biscotti show. Josh, let's rate them away, brother. Peace out.